is asking to give certain individuals, those who have been impacted by harassment and have restraining orders, access to firearm. But if you look at the exceptions that already exist, there's one difference between all of these, and is that the exceptions that already exist actually gives those exceptions to people who are actually extremely proficient or I would say experts at using firearms.
Women should not be allowed to keep guns in their home because they're not well trained enough. This is according to a woman. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like channel, like content, and what I do here, you can support me with the link. Everything's appreciated. And my Connecticut residents, you want to get your Connecticut pistol permit, please get that training and paperwork turned in before July 1st because the training has been modified. If you already have your permit, watch the expiration date. Don't let it expire. There's a link to the online renewal portal for the state of Connecticut in the description box. Keep an eye on that. Let's talk about this. And this is fascinating. This is a representative. Her name is, I'll pull it up, Kaholi Vang Her. And she stood on the Minnesota House floor and literally said that women should not be allowed to keep guns in their home for self-defense because they aren't trained well enough. They're not experts. What this is in relationship to, this same representative has a bill on the House floor where she's going for gun storage laws. And what they're arguing are exceptions. Who has to follow this law and who does not. Some brought forward a change saying we would like women over domestic violence and who have restraining orders to be exempt from this law. This same woman stood on the House floor and said we should not have this exception for those women because, well, they're not well trained enough. Now, I'm going to let her tell you herself.
Is asking to give certain individuals, those who have been impacted by harassment and have restraining orders, access to firearm. But if you look at the exceptions that already exist, there's one difference between all of these, and is that the exceptions that already exist actually gives those exceptions to people who are actually extremely proficient or I would say experts at using firearms. This Franson Amendment actually gives exceptions to those who are not. So I want to just share really quick that I've been a hunter, had a gun, have had firearms in my home for about 30 years now. Kind of dates me a little bit, but and I tell you that every single time that I use my firearm, I have to actually remember to train myself to say, where's my safety, and to take my safety off. So as Representative Schultz says, when seconds matter, I would not have saved myself, because every single time re-practicing taking off that safety in order to shoot my firearm safely actually takes me multiple seconds. And so what they teach us in firearm training, I've been through multiple ones because I've gone through hunter safety, my conceal and carry, I've done a number of these things. And I asked the instructor, I said, how come every time I use my gun, there's this little knot in my stomach that I feel scared to use my gun? And he said, that is very normal. And I said, well, when will that knot go away? And he said, you have to practice, you have to shoot at least 1,000 rounds in your initial training and then do 100 rounds per month in order to maintain proficiency. I started adding up all the times I've actually used my gun. I don't think in my lifetime I've shot 1,000 rounds. And so if I am somebody who is in danger, who is afraid for my life, my firearm is not going to save me. And like Representative Pinto said, people with firearms in their homes are more likely to get hurt themselves. That if seconds matter and if I am afraid, I will very likely not be able to effectively use my firearm, and that firearm will get used against me. 100 rounds per month. I think it's challenging to even get out to that, and I know some people do it. But when we're talking about people who have active harassment restraining orders, people who may have experienced this, I'm not going to guess numbers, but
Heard that and you saw that. First of all, if you've been a gun owner for 30 years and you still in your mind have to figure out where your safety is on your firearm, I'm going to tell you flat out, you damn well should not own a firearm. That's like somebody saying, I've been driving for 30 years and I still have to remind myself where the brake is. Yes, in her case, she should not own a gun. If you can't figure out after 30 years of owning a firearm and using it on somewhat of a regular basis how it functions, then yeah, you should not have a gun. I'm agree with her on that, because that's just ridiculous. But as you heard her say, she said that if somebody were to break into her home, that lack of knowledge of having to remind herself where the safety is would not save her life. Well, there you go. That's what training is for. That's why I always say train, train, train. Train until it becomes a secondary reflex in your mind. You don't even think about it. But as far as her, yeah, she should own a gun. If that's her reasoning for not allowing victims of domestic violence and those who have restraining orders and very violent people who might violate those restraining orders, then she shouldn't have a gun. But she's using her lack of knowledge to basically include everyone else. And that's a real shame. But let's come in here. Prohibitionists exploits our own incompetence to deny emergency gun access to endangered women. Rep. Keoli Vang Her just said on the House floor that we shouldn't allow women to keep guns in their homes for self-defense because they aren't trained well enough. Minnesota House GOP War Room. And that's an ex-post. And then you saw the video. But her reasons: existing exceptions apply to people, she says, are experts at using firearms. This amendment would give exceptions to those who are not. Now, immediately you should raise an eyebrow. But by expert, she means members of law enforcement who give daily examples of why they don't have special qualities that automatically makes them more trustworthy than the rest of us. Predictably, the restrictions do not apply to, of course, every single time firearms owned or possessed by a peace officer while the officer engaged in the performance of official duties. Every time they pass these gun control laws, every single time they carve out exceptions for law enforcement, military, active duty. Every single time they make the Constitution like a piecemeal. Who's worthy to exercise fully that right and who is not? And that's a complete affront to the spirit of the Constitution. Constitution says we the people, not these individual groups. But in case anyone is unclear on how the appellation came to be, meet the DEA agent who shot himself in the leg, if you remember that video. Yeah. While holstering his firearm after telling a classroom full of children, I'm the only one in the room professional enough to carry this Glock 40. Yeah, that's a classic video. I'll see if I can find it and put it up there. But it's fair to ask why there should be exceptions on rights for anyone, or more to the point, why there should be infringements in the first place. Then again, justifying those as being for the greater good has proven to be one of the more effective ways of swindling the witless out of their rights, getting them to demand stripping them from everyone else. And if there's one thing her has shown herself adept at, it's using logical fallacies to sway a critical mass of non-critical thinking Democrats. And you've heard her say a lot of this, what's in here, so I don't really have to go down through that, but I'm coming to here. Discouraging women from defending themselves with the greatest equalizer yet devised and encouraging ignorance and fear is a major part of the gun prohibitionist unified propaganda effort. A gun in the home is more likely to be used to injure women than to protect them. That's the Kellerman study, if you remember that. And John Lott actually debunked that. It's a very interesting study, but it is bunk, for sure. But a gun in the home is more likely to be used to injure women than to protect them. All the major gun grab groups declare. What they deliberately leave out, because their intent is to scare everyone, is that they're relying on violence occurring in criminal households and then applying equal risks to all households, basically the same scam they use when they demand blanket citizen disarmament because of the homicides that overwhelmingly occur in a small set of urban areas. Well, they really don't give a damn about the violence in these small set of urban areas. Let me give you a perfect example. How long is the violence, gun violence specifically, if we want to go there, has been raging in Chicago? How long? How long are we hearing about the violence going on in Chicago? What did it take for Pritzker to invoke an assault weapons ban? The incident at Highland Park. Yeah, let's go there. Black people have been losing their lives in Chicago on a regular basis, but a group of white people get killed in Highland Park. Oh, we got to have an assault weapons ban. That shows you the mindset. And I can go even further, but it'll make the video too long, but you can see where I'm going with that. But let me go ahead and come out of that. So there it is. A woman is telling other women, you're not well trained enough to get an exception on a safe storage bill that she is pushing through. Because in her mind, the only ones that are experts are law enforcement, peace officers, and what have you. I beg to differ. I worked the range for a long time. Trust me, I've seen some egregious nonsense come from all different walks of life and different. I've seen law enforcement do some things in there that would, hey, no need to bring up stories, but I think that's a bunch of nonsense. It comes down to the individual and their attitude. That's more focus of gun safety than anything else. But this woman using her ignorance of firearms to then blanketly put it on all women is damn disturbing. Ladies, you should be upset, because despite what these idiots tell you on TV, women, you are not stronger than men. Stop. Okay? When a man comes through your door with the intent of hurting you, a gun is the great equalizer. Now, I am 100% and 100% train, learn how to use your firearm. 1,000 rounds a month? I don't know about that, but I tell you to get out there at least once a week. Try to, and train. That's just my thought on the matter, but I find her comments disgusting and an insult. Once again, because she's keeping women's lives in danger. Because she will not give them an exception to the gun storage law to give them greater access to the firearm, because in her mind, they're not expert enough for her. But that's the world we live in. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.